What's going on, everyone? Welcome to this edition of Kriegs Corner. That's Corner with a K. I'm your host, Adam Krieger, and today is Thursday, February 4th. We are recording a few days before Super Bowl Sunday. It's a big weekend in sports coming on. The ultimate, the final football game. We get to find out who the champions are of this NFL season. This really really wacky NFL season. Um, just before we get into the show, so for today's episode, I have Jimmy Bonavita of GymGuyz. He is someone who's really important in my life. He helped me start my weight loss journey, and I would not be where I am today. I didn't really tell too much on the story, but too much of the story in the interview with him. But I reached out to Jimmy via Facebook, and from that moment on, my life would never be the same. He got my diet back on track. He got my life back on track. And without him, I don't know if I would have ever gotten back into college. And I wouldn't have required an internship, and I most likely would not be recording this podcast today. So I talk about my weight loss journey with him, what I did, some other success stories, and what GymGuyz does. So you can find GymGuyz on gymguyz.com. That's GYMGUYZ, GymGuyz with a Z.com. Jimmy is one of the co-founders of GymGuyz Westchester County, which is the county that I live in and where he also lives. He's doing really good things over there. He'll get into a little bit more in the episode, but he's doing, I would consider, some of the toughest jobs. He's working with some, highly functioning autistic people, and that is something that is incredible work. Um, I'm very, I think the world is very grateful for Jimmy and what his company does and working with those people. And also just some like other weight loss success stories, some tips, more in that kind of stuff. The back half of the show, I bring it back on Scotty Ice, and we're going to do some Super Bowl props, talk you through the game, what we're looking at. I have some quirky props that I'm looking at with some bigger value. Scott's doing some more game props, but you'll hear it more about that in this back half of the episode. Um, what else? What else? NCAA football came out. That happened after I last recorded. So that's a really, really big moment for gaming. And, I consider just some NCAA football was one of my fondest childhood memories, playing that game with my friends and also doing the career road to glory. So I talk about that with Dakota and Matthew. Um, I will link that down below. We go over our wish lists and some stuff that we hope to see in the game, stuff we hope is not in the game, and just some like gameplay mechanics and all that stuff. I guess it's funny. I really am a much more casual video game fan than I thought I was. Talking to those guys, they were talking about draft scouting and NCAA and all these little features that, to be honest, I'd never really thought much about. So it was interesting for me to have my perspective on what gaming is and that type of stuff really really changed. I thought I was a gamer, and I'm not compared to some of these guys. Um, what else? That's pretty much it, I think. What else is happening? Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode of Kriegs Korner with the K. Next up, Jimmy Bonavita. One. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to this edition of Krieger's Corner. It's Corner with a K. I'm your host, Adam Krieger, and I'm joined by a special guest today, Jimmy Bonavita. He is someone who I owe a lot of my life to. I know he's gonna, he'll disagree with that, but he is one of the founders of GymGuyz Westchester, um, and he's gonna get into what GymGuyz does. But I guess I want to just go off the top. Jimmy was instrumental in me losing. I lost over 100 pounds in 4 months. He was, I would say, my rock to get me through it. He was there for me all along the way. But I just want to start off this little discussion with, why don't you tell me a little bit more about yourself, get the audience familiar with who you are and how you got here.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for having me, Adam. This is exciting. I'm glad you got something going like this. Yeah. So, I guess GymGuyz. I'll start with GymGuyz, and then we can touch upon whatever you're looking to go into. But out of college, I was actually in the wine and liquor business. My family comes from that background. I was doing sales for about 3 or 4 years. Was not what I was passionate about. And then my brother-in-law, who's my business partner as well, we met someone that had the concept of a mobile in-home fitness company, where we're catering the gym to the home, to the corporate office, assisted living home, you name it, we do it. We live in an Amazon world now, so everybody wants things to the door. They want that convenience, and that's what our brand does for the fitness world. We really kind of flip-flopped it and brought it to the client. We got into GymGuyz because of basically the overhead model completely makes sense. You have a low overhead on a month-to-month basis versus having a brick and mortar. But the best part about it is it allowed us to work with all types of clients from 2 years old up to 90-something years old. We work with clients that need weight loss. We work with clients that are looking for toning, overall health. We work with adaptive population, which is awesome. We've just started the last 3 or 4 years working with adaptive population. So, across, young kids on the spectrum to adults on the spectrum. So it's been a blast. It's a new avenue that we've gotten into. And then we opened up our second location. It's about 4 years old, up in Greenwich, Connecticut, Fairfield County. We cover the whole Fairfield County. So basically almost all of Connecticut we cover as well. We have a team up there. We have a team of 20 here in Westchester County. And then in Connecticut, we have about 7 or 8 employees.
Yeah, I mean, Jim, when I first got familiar with GymGuyz, it wasn't even from Jimmy. I saw signs all across, next to the highways, and it was the red van. That's like stuck out to me. And then when driving around town, you guys all drive a GymGuyz like branded car. So that was something that, I always knew. And for me, my introduction really to what you guys did was, there was another kid from my school. I'm not going to say his name, but he went through he had literally one of the craziest weight transformations I've ever seen in my life. I went to camp with him in 7th grade, and then all of a sudden, I think it was like 3 or 4 years later, he was literally irrecognizable, and it was something that was crazy. And I personally, I needed that. I had gone through a little rough patch in my life. I'd gone to school and things weren't working out for me. And I came home and I was literally a balloon. I describe myself as like, I look like I had been stung by a million bees. I was just swollen all over. So I reached out to Jimmy via Facebook message, and that's kind of where our story started. I tell the story that I regretted it hitting send as soon as I did it, because I knew that you weren't going to let up on me, and that was what I was going to do. But so I guess I'll just go into this right now. My success story. So my dates get a little bit screwed up now, but I think it was around the first week of December 2018. I reached out to him, and I was miserable. I was a shell of a human being. All my friends told me I was miserable. I was fat. My parents hated to be around me, and it was something that I never really thought was an issue, but like actively I thought was an issue, but I just didn't really. I'm a career athlete. I never stop competing in a sport, and I always think I have that edge where no matter what, when I want to flip the switch, I could do it. But I mean, I was at the point where I couldn't. So why don't you walk me through your perspective of your first interaction with me and what you thought the future was going to look like?
Yeah. I mean, right off the bat, I was excited when I got the message through. I love that part of the story, though, how you regretted hitting the send. It's a big step, for anybody to realize that you need to make a change, number one, in life. It's a lifestyle change. It's a big step. People think it's easy to lose weight or easy to gain muscle or, easy to stop smoking or, drop bad habits. They're not. I don't care who you are. To make a change is very difficult. And the first step, obviously, is what you did. You reached out to someone to get help. And you being a former athlete, I played for a year in college. I played football. So I was 300 pounds at one point. I was 306 was my heaviest. I weigh like in the 180s now to the 190s. So I know what it took to get to where you wanted to be. And I couldn't have been more excited to get you on board because your work ethic, you're a great kid, you're a hardworking kid. And, sometimes it's just, you need someone to kind of give you that extra push. And I couldn't be more proud that you look up to me in that aspect of your life to give you that help in the corner. I think that's huge. But mainly my main thing was I knew it was going to be a mental battle for you. I knew you knew what it takes to be a leader, a competitor, to get in the workouts and go the full hour and push yourself. I remember, what you threw up, the first like How many workouts?
Oh, probably the first 4 or 5. That
So,
was something I literally always do. And the
so
first time it was a puking, but this was a little bit different.
So and like those are tough battles. And then obviously, as you know, the most difficult thing was the food portion. It's easy. Working out's easy. Anybody can go and say, I'm going to work out for an hour, or whatever they want to do. But you knew the difficult part was going to be you changing your daily lifestyle of eating. And you did. We went the macros route for you in the beginning, and it was difficult. You weren't smooth.
Oh, it was brutal.
So you struggled with it, but I knew that, like I said, the mental aspect was going to be your biggest challenge. I knew you had it in you to have the heart and the grit to work, but the mental aspect of the food portion was going to be difficult. Um, you know,
Yeah, for me, it was definitely, like you said, I needed that little extra kick. That extra kick in my life had always been sports and wanting to be the best and lead my team to be the best. But when it was just me out there, it was, I sometimes I struggle for that. And I needed that, between you and my trainer, Matt. He, we had morning workouts in my basement, and like I said, we started in December, so it was freezing. I was getting down there in my hoodie and a sweatpants, and I'd wake up and Matt I see the red van outside my house, and I'd be like, oh shit, like here we go again. Like it was
yeah,
not something I wanted to do, but I knew, for me, at least personally, I didn't want to let you guys down. You had invested a lot of time in me, and so we're gonna go. There's two routes to it. I I personally think that the diet was the biggest change in my life, and it was by far the most difficult change in my life. So
yep.
would you say the key is for losing weight would be weight loss? I mean, would be change of diet, or would it be the workout?
Well, they're both hand in hand, but the diet is 80% of it, maybe even 90%. I don't care who you are or what genetics you claim you have. If your diet is off, you're going to either look the same, you're not going to get where you want to be. Changing your healthy daily, lifestyle of eating is really where the change needs to be. I always tell people, like, the macros I like the best because it just shows you portion sizes. Because here in the U.S., we're used to, like, when we go to a restaurant, you get like almost double or triple what you really should be taking in. So when you see what 4 ounces or 5 ounces of chicken looks like or fish looks like, you're like, whoa, I eat triple of that. So it's not necessarily you're always eating bad, but maybe you're eating too much of it. And I think that was one of your bigger problems was, you were used to being such a high level athlete. You were competing, on a daily basis. You were working out on a daily basis, and then life kind of hit you where you had other responsibilities to take on. And that's what I see what happens with a lot of adults. And I consider you an adult now, where you're moving forward with your career, with your schooling, and other things come into play. So you can't just go work out 3 times a day and still eat what you want, and you're not moving around as much. So those other responsibilities do weigh on you. So I really think the diet portion is the biggest piece. Obviously, working out, promotes weight loss, burn calories, those types of things. But what we did with you, like I said, was just macros. We did your macros, and then we had you in a calorie deficit. And no matter when we talk about diet, there's so many different diet trends out there now. There's keto, there's paleo, there's doing your macros, there's all these different things. They're all plans. They all work for success. They're all good. But it's really, if you want to lose weight, the simple thing is calorie deficit. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. If you're supposed to take in 2,500 calories for maintenance, then obviously you need to drop down to 2,300 if you want to lose weight. And you lost weight properly. You didn't drop at a drastic rate where it was like, oh my God, he just did it in 30 days. This was a few months process where we worked you down properly and that you can maintain over a lifetime. And now I think you still carry these. Obviously, you're more flexible with your diet. You're doing a flexible diet, but you're able to maintain a lifestyle where you feel good, you feel comfortable. You can still go to a restaurant with your buddies and have fun, or you can have a beer on the weekend if you like, or whatever that may be. So that's what I always look for people. I want them to have a flexible diet where you can live a good lifestyle. It doesn't have to be, have to eat chicken and rice every day or fish and rice every day, that kind of thing. So, but yeah, the diet piece is huge.
So my diet specifically was something I was not. I didn't think that when you handed me my diet plan, a meal plan, it was like, look what it looked like. It had 6 meals a day. I had to eat every 3 hours religiously. And the first 2 weeks, I felt like I was overeating. And I told you that. I was like, are you sure, like, this is best for me? Blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I can't even finish my meal. And
Yep.
then you explained that you just need to get your metabolism going. And once you got through the first 2 weeks, that it would start to see results. And I mean, results I saw kind of instantly. I mean, you say it was the proper weight, it was the proper timing, and it obviously was because it was a lot healthier than I had done in the past. But I mean, I lost 100 pounds in 4 months. To me, that's
Yeah.
sort of like
No, it's
I
awesome.
think I think that's a Guinness Book of World Record, but that's just me to my
Yeah.
own harm.
It's fast. It's fast.
Yeah. Um. So we went over my success story. Why don't you give me a few other stories that stand out to you, or maybe just give
Yeah,
me one or
sure.
two?
Yeah, I just want to say one thing though. So going back to you as an athlete, kind of one of the reasons I was excited to take you on. When I was a little kid, my dad was a pretty big wrestler when he was in high school, and then I wrestled for a year, which I loved. I always think with wrestlers is they have this one. It's a sport like none other because you can't blame anybody else. It's just you. It's one on one in the circle. It's either you win or you lose. There's no, it was the guy next to me. So I think that a lot of time when I speak with former wrestlers, they have that edge where they understand, yeah, it's a team aspect, but when you're on the mat, it's only you. There's no one else to blame. You can't blame the guy next to you. You can't blame anybody that you got pinned or whatever you want to do, lose by points. So that's why one thing I always want to say about you is you had that grit that I was excited to work with. But moving on to other success stories, we work with, you could talk about weight loss. I think that's great and all those things. But we work with, like I said, this adaptive population. We have a very big client base that we've had the honor to work with and keep growing our client base with. And there's people that just deal with, everyday, brain cognitive things that we work on them with. So very simple tasks, but they need to do is to improve those things. We work on balance, coordination. We work on, changing their hip gaits, those types of things, having them move properly. And we've had some really, really good, success stories in the sense of just, improving their overall strength, their fitness levels, and then also enjoying fitness, and trying to change their lives into that healthy lifestyle. So it's been a really good portion, a really good time that we've gotten into recently. I have to say though, from Irvington, also another guy was John. It doesn't need to say his last name, but John. John was also another big success story, coming from our hometown, which was pretty awesome. Losing over 100 pounds. And again, going back to it, we had to focus on diet. John worked out for a while with us. He wasn't as motivated as you were in the sense to drop the weight. It was just more just for something for him to do. He needed someone to kind of push him just to get him to do stuff on a regular day basis. And then he realized he really wanted to take it to the next level and then made those changes in order to lose the crazy amount of weight. We've had a bunch of clients lose, 50, 75 pounds. We've had couples do it together where they're losing, 100 pounds. I just think the best part about what I do and what my staff does is we're able to, give people a workout at home in their convenience, obviously, where the best part is most of them have kids or they have families or they have work, whatever it is consuming them. They don't have time to get in the car and go to the gym. So we're able to go to them and give them that full hour workout, whether it's once, twice, 3 times a week, and make a difference in their lives. And I love the mental aspect of everything. I think it's great, like I said, when someone loses weight. I think it's great when someone says, "Oh, I feel great. I lost, I gained 5 pounds of muscle." But it's really the mental aspect. If I can change you as a person mentally and make you a better person, I think there's nothing better in life than that. I just want to see you do well. I don't, it's great that you lost all this weight, but I think as a man, you've grown tremendously and have become more than I think you ever thought you could outside of sports. And sometimes I think it's hard for former athletes when sports are everything and everybody tells you, you're great, you're great, you're great. But then one day it all goes away. Even the best players in the world. That's why you see them try to play for so long. A guy like Tom Brady, he doesn't want to give that up yet, right? Drew Brees is just giving that up. It's the hardest thing in the world to give up because that's all they think they know. But they offer so much more to the world that they don't even realize yet. And you're that perfect example. You thought sports was everything, and I think that's where a lot of your downhill mentality went. And then when you realize, wow, I have so much more to offer than just wrestling or football, and you've opened those avenues for yourself, and I think that's really where you should be most proud of, and that's what makes me most proud about you and other clients.
Yeah, I mean, John was that success story I was referencing earlier.
Yeah.
I went to camp with him. He was he was huge. And then all of a sudden I saw him a few years later, and it was, I couldn't recognize him. His face looked completely different. And, like you said, I specifically struggle, especially from where we're from. We're from such a small town, and our community is, even though it's getting less and less sports based. Like, it was still like some pressure we felt. Like, alumni were always there. You always knew you had some tradition to uphold, and when you live in such a small echo chamber, sometimes you forget what really matters. And I'm from the small town in New York, like small school. We don't sports, even though it was big to us in the grand scheme of it, we were literally nothing. And it takes a while to
Yeah.
realize that. Um, so like you said, you go to homes and you bring the workout to them. How has that worked in the pandemic? Like, was it a fall off? And then I have a feeling now it's kind of, no one wants to go to the
Yeah.
gym anymore, especially where we're from in New York.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, obviously, as I'm sure a lot of the people listeners know too, is that the first case was here that was known was in New Rochelle. So that's right in our backyard here. I mean, one of the close town to us. My territory, we have a lot of clients in that area, Scarsdale, New Rochelle area. So we had about a 2 month lull where we were really operating at a very, very low pace. Things closed down. We moved a lot of things to virtual. It wasn't great. We struggled a little bit, but we fought through. It was also an emotional time for us. Big time. It was hard to focus on the business when we lost one of our closest friends, and I consider a brother, my business partner as well, in Connecticut. So it was a very tough time for us, but we pushed through. And we persevered. Our team was unbelievable. Stood by us, really pushed the clients to get back on board. And the same thing, my team worked hard, but our clients also were dedicated to us. They didn't look for us to give them something back or say, we're out of here. They really tried to work with us. But again, we started pushing things to a virtual route, which opened up some cool doors for us because we never really did virtual, before the pandemic. It wasn't something, our service was about really being in person. So when we switched over to doing the virtual route, it just opened up some doors. We still have clients that are still doing virtual. The last 3 to 4 months have been great. Like you said, a lot of people aren't going back to gym, so we've gained a lot of new clients on, which is excellent. There's still people scared. They're saying never going to return to a gym or whatever that may be. So it's opened up a lot of doors for us now. And again, it's improving as the weeks go. We've done a lot of outdoor training, so I give people a lot of credit. We have clients out in the snow that are just using their garage space, outdoor open air, doing workouts outside to keep safe, obviously, for the client and the trainer. So that's been awesome. Obviously, like I said, in the Northeast, this is tough. I mean, we're freezing outside. Our coaches are wearing heated jackets. The clients are wearing heated jackets, but we're pushing. So it's been a tough road, but I think it's opened up a lot of doors for us, as we're moving forward here through the pandemic.
Yeah. So I think, how many years you had since you got your first franchise?
Yeah, 7 years. 7 years.
So, obviously we're in year 7 now, and we're going through like a once in a hopefully lifetime pandemic. But before that, there were obviously struggles. Why don't you walk me through like the early struggles of starting? Even though it's a franchise, like, you still have to do everything yourselves for the most
Yeah.
part, especially in this area. So walk us through the struggles and what you thought was a big tipping point for you guys to bring you to the next level.
Sure. I mean, being in your early 20s and never managing anyone was probably the number one struggle. We were kind of learning on the go. We have some mentors, that I look up to and that I look to for advice. My business partner's father, Alan, has been in the business finance world for a long time. Ran businesses, owns businesses. So he's been a big mentor to us. Has taught us kind of how to do certain things from a business standpoint. But at the same time, again, we were 23, 24 years old, and we had a franchise, which is the craziest thing to think about. And then you think about the aspect, we were actually the first ones of it. So there was really we were kind of learning and going as our corporate office was moving along. And there was literally probably, there was Josh, who's the CEO and founder, and then me, Sam, and it was literally just me and Sam in the beginning. We built our business up. I kept my wine sales job for the first year, and I would do things in between. and then Sam did all the training in the beginning. He was running almost like 40 to 50 hours weekly, and then plus back of the house work to try to keep us moving in the right direction. But I think the biggest challenge for us was hiring and getting a good staff that was willing to work hard and day in, day out. Our staff is like, I'll put them up against anybody in the country. They're awesome. They're relentless. They work hard. They understand what it takes to be successful. They love work. They love what they do. They love helping clients. But I think the biggest challenge was learning how to hire properly. So when you have somebody in an interview process, are we looking for the right things? Are we asking the right questions? Are we looking for somebody with 20 years of experience? Would we rather get somebody who's got 3 years of experience? So it just depends on, now we've learned where we can look to say, okay, we really need this or we don't need this. Over years though, but it was kind of a learning on the go. And I think the biggest point where we kind of came over a hurdle, was once we got the staff kind of set in place. Again, it wasn't great, but it was improving and we learned, the ins and outs. But the biggest struggle starting your own business is just you have to be willing to work nonstop. There's no days off. As much as it sounds good, now, yeah, I could say, oh, this is great. But maybe like you ask me year 1, year 2, year 3, you pull your hair out. I mean, you're every night before you go to bed, if something's wrong in the morning, like, at 5 in the morning, 5 in the morning, it's not, I can't just say, oh, we'll figure it out later. I got to figure it out. Or we got to figure it out. So we'd have to cancel, like our trainer would be sick in the morning, for example. Okay, we have scheduled this, scheduled that. We have to move everything and make it work. There's really no, at that point, there's, when you're new, it's all hard work. So, you got to be willing to put in time. Yes, it's a franchise. The plans are put in place for you in the sense to be successful, but you still have to work. I mean, that's the main thing. Like you said from the beginning, you see all those signs throughout Westchester County. I mean, we put those out at 3:30 in the morning, sometimes 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. We used to fly our train stations, whatever it took to grow the business, is what we did. And, now we look back and I think, all these long nights and days, you realize, wow, this is, what we put into it. And it's all worth it. But in the beginning, it's tough. It's a mental drive, just like, like we were talking about before, losing weight, that mental aspect is tough. You gotta be able to see the future. You got to see why you're doing this hard work. And what I love about opening your own business and something like this is you put your chips, it's in my basket, it's in Sam's basket. We didn't rely on anybody else. You can't say, oh, I'm going to get a paycheck for $80,000 this year from my corporate job. No, this is either we do the work or we're not getting paid. We grow the business or we're not growing. So that's what I loved about it. And that's where that competitive edge comes from, that's why I love this, because as much work as I want to put in or we want to put in, as much as we're going to get back. So the harder we work, the more we make.
Yeah, I mean, you were talking about hiring the right people in the early hours. I mean, just for example, I was starting my weight training at like 6 in the morning, and so Matt would be at my door, like, be outside at 5:45, and I was either his second or third customer of the day or client of the day already.
Yep.
He has to put in that work, and that it has to do with, you have to have a screw loose or a little bit of an edge to be successful. I think that's pretty much it for me. Where can people find you? What could they be on the lookout next for GymGuyz?
Yeah, for sure. So real simple, gymguyz.com with a Z, GYMGUYZ.com. Again, GymGuyz with a Z.com. You can get us there. You can also see us on Instagram. We have GymGuyz, both for Fairfield County as well as Westchester. So we post some things on there every so often, just kind of see what it actually looks like, the training. I guess for GymGuyz though in general, the main thing is, we're looking to continue to grow the business here in Westchester County. And then our Southern Fairfield County location is young. It's constantly growing. My business partner there put a lot of sweat into the business and really worked his butt off to get it to where it is. We have a wonderful staff up there. So those two are really growing. The main thing is we just need to be able to keep pivoting. Things are changing. And that's really the businesses that are surviving now in today's society with the pandemic and everything that's going on. If you can't pivot, you're out. And that's period. It's how it's going. If you can't figure out a way to, adapt to the customer, adapt to the restrictions that are currently set on us. And again, state to state, it's different. But here in New York, I mean, we're still pretty much in a pretty big deficit. You look at all these restaurants that are struggling. They can only have a small percentage in, and that's really the beauty of what we do. It allows us to keep moving, not having that physical location and being able to go to the customer. And we're excited too to get back our corporate accounts. We do a lot of schools. We do hour programs there, half-hour programs for the children. Obviously, our assisted living homes aren't operating, having us come in right now. So we've lost a lot of our corporate accounts. We've lost all of them essentially, due to the pandemic. So we're excited to bring that back in. Just like I said, just to keep trending up, keep moving forward. And then GymGuyz as a whole, I mean, we're in over 250 locations throughout the country. We've just ramped up in the UK. Actually, like 2 or 3 days ago, I think today or yesterday, I was in the UK a year from today, actually, right before the pandemic started. And we just launched in the UK, so it's pretty awesome. I was at their trade show there for franchisees and at the Olympia down in London, and it was a great experience. So we're launching the UK. We have several territories there, and then we're also in Canada, where we've been in Canada for a while, but we've opened some new territories recently. On the franchising side, it's crazy busy. People are out of jobs, looking for jobs. People are looking to open their own businesses, but our model is appeasing to so many people because again, that non-brick and mortar model, not to have a physical location, is huge. And like you said, nobody's going to gyms anymore. Really, they're almost non-existent to a certain extent. The small studios will survive, but the big box gyms will struggle. They need to fill the space. They have these huge 3, 4, 5, who knows, a couple thousand square foot facilities, and they're not filled. They have half capacity. They have no capacity. So, and then obviously me as a person, I just want to keep helping people. I love being able to support my staff and give back to them and be able to support their families and keep, giving them clients to keep training. And then also just getting opportunity to kind of meet, get to know people like you better. We've known each other since high school, but I didn't know you like I know you now. Since I met you when you made that call, I got to dig into your life. I got to kind of know what you were thinking, when you were thinking it. And, that's kind of, as a person, it helps me grow. It helps me become a better person and understand people. So.
Yeah, there's 2 things I want to wrap up with, and one of them is probably a little bit on me for not making this clear in the beginning, is that you guys don't just do weight loss. You train multiple college athletes as well. Strength training, you get everyone ready to go. Speed training, you guys are so versatile, and I guess I only saw it through my narrow lens, which was I was looking for weight loss, but I know plenty of guys you've trained personally. And then once, ironically enough, once I had lost my weight, a lot of opportunities came back for me, and including going back to school, which you referenced. And once I was going back to school, the plan was to wrestle in college. So you, Matt, and I completely pivoted what we were doing at the time, and we went full blown into training to compete, because from where I was at, I obviously lost a lot of weight, but then when you come to college wrestling, there's only 2 weight classes, 197, and then it goes to 285. And I was not getting to 197. So there had to be a point where it was okay. Like if I was too low, it would have been disadvantaged. So Matt, Jimmy, and I, like I said, completely pivoted what we were doing. And so, you do it all. It's not just the weight loss. And you said you work with the special communities, and that's something that obviously hits a little close to home for me. Yeah. And I guess my last point would be, and this is kind of just me talking out loud, is I think I briefly knew that you were the first franchise, but hearing that that you were the first franchise turning into 250 across the globe is literally, it's mind blowing right now. And it's just credit to guys like you, Sam, the head franchise guy. I mean, I don't know how many times you win the GymGuyz franchise of the award a year.
I think we've won it since we've opened. So
yeah, from one location to 250 locations, you guys are still racking up the awards, and it's for good reason. So
no, 100%, man. 100%.
Thanks for coming on again, everyone. It's Jimmy Bonavita. You can find him at gymguyz.com. That's guys with a Z, GYMGUZ.com. Thanks for coming on, and hope to have you guys soon.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. In case you hadn't heard, your favorite Renegade Sports Media Group has its own Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Vendetta Sports Media. to support our efforts to continuously bring you sports, gaming, and other media coverage as only we can. We've got 4 different membership tiers. For $3 a month, we'll give you a simple thank you on our Patreon site. For $6 a month, you get a thank you and you get to become a recruit in Jackson Law's Vendetta University Gaming Series. For $10 a month, you get everything from the previous tiers, a special thank you at the end of our videos, free access to our upcoming Discord chat, and a free koozie after 4 months. And then the big dog, $50 a month, gets you everything from the previous tiers, as well as opportunities for Fantasy League invites, stream gaming, possible invites to mock NFL and NBA draft sessions, a once-a-month Google Hangout, and after 4 months, a free t-shirt. Yeah! Go to patreon.com/Vendetta Sports Media and help us to improve our pledge to bring you the best sports, gaming, and other media coverage.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Kriegs Korner. That's Corner with a K. I'm your host, Adam Krieger, and I'm pleased to welcome back on my good friend, Scotty Ice, and the return of Scotty Ice's six-pack. Scott, how you doing today?
I'm just so happy that I got invited back. I didn't know if last time went well, dude. So just, let's go. Let's get them.
It went well enough. Scott's to be a regular on the show. We're going to do some back half. Back half of the show will always be some gambling talk. I know the gambling season's kind of winding down, but Scott and I will figure out something to talk about. That's for sure. So for today's
things to bet on.
Exactly. So for today's show, we're going to be doing a Super Bowl prop mega show. So I have a bunch of plays listed out. Scott has a bunch of plays listed out. Whatever they are, we're going to put them on a Google sheet, track them. I mean, obviously, we're not betting every single prop we're giving out, but I'll only speak for myself. I'm not betting every single prop I'm giving out, but I have some kind of quirky ones and some ones I think to have some really cool value. Just off the top, all of our lines are from Bovada. I'm not in a legal sports gambling state at the moment, so I don't have access to those cool books and those promos that you might get from wherever you're from. But Scott, before we get into the picks, why don't you just kind of briefly tell me how you think the game is going to go? Do you think it's going to be a good game? What are you looking forward to? Storylines, that type of stuff.
I think it should be a great game. Last year's Super Bowl was awesome. I feel like whenever you get Mahomes and Brady, neither of those QBs is going to let their team lose by more than a touchdown. I don't care if one team gets off to a lead. No lead is safe, no matter which quarterback you got on your side. So I'm super excited. I got seven prop bets that I really like. Like, I was looking at them, and I feel like I live in a world where the more I like it, the less likely it is to hit. So I might be looking at a fat 0-7, but I'm going to be taking these, and I feel pretty good about them. So let's get into it.
That's great to hear. So I have 9 written down, and then that's not including my gameplay, my bet for the actual game. But I'll just go first, and we'll go one by one. So I think that there will be a successful 2-point conversion attempt. Bovada has it at -145. Scott, what do you think about that?
All right, wait. So this is not that it's going to be attempted. It's got to be successful.
It's got to be successful.
Wow.
Wait,
that's
no.
tough.
Actually, no. I was wrong. A 2-point conversion attempt, -145.
Okay.
Yes,
I was going to say,
attempt.
okay. I do like that. If it had to be successful, I think that would be pretty shitty odds there, just because you're only going to get
the odds would
one
have
or two.
The odds would have been shit on that. To be honest, what went through my head when I was taking this is that all the amount of extra points that have been missed since they moved them back a few years ago has been kind of insane, and that always screws gambling lines up. Everyone's got a horror story of how they lost on an extra point.
Yeah.
Something like that. Those half points are kind of crazy. So that's my number one. I'm laying a little bit of juice, but it is what it is.
Nah, I think that one's got a good shot at hitting, especially. I don't think either of these coaches are going to be going for a 2-point conversion within the first 3 quarters. But if you got to get 2 to go up by 3 or go up by 7, I think we got a good chance of that, because there should be a bunch of points scored.
All right, hit me with your first one.
All right, my first one So here's a prop. Will the game be tied besides 0-0 at any point in the game? So I said yes at -137. I think this is going to be pretty back and forth. I like the Chiefs to win. I mean, we can get into our game pick afterwards, but I do think KC will win. But like I said before, I don't see either Brady or Mahomes falling too far behind. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're tied at the half or just at any point in the game after 0-0. I'm going yes, -137.
All right. So even, quick, yeah, that one seems a good value because, whoever gets the ball first is going to score. And then I could easily see the other team marching back down the field, scoring a touchdown, field goal, whatever that may be. All right.
Yep, that's the hope.
The next prop I'm going to give out is under 10.5 third down conversion successful. So the Bucs defense is obviously really good on paper, and I don't know how often both these quarterbacks are going to be put in third down situations. So for me, that number was pretty high, and I'm gonna take the under on that. That was -115.
You said 10.5.
Yup, under 10.5 third down conversions.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good bet. I think honestly, the Chiefs D has been playing really great. Also,
Exactly. So between the two of them, between the defenses playing well, and if they're in third and long, I don't see those being converted, and I don't see Mahomes or Brady having to have too many crazy third down plays. And I feel like
Cool.
10.5 is a big number for that to, throughout the game. I could be wrong, but like I
Cool.
said, I'm probably wrong. Hit me with your next one.
Oh, my next one. All right, I got the next one that I like. I got both teams hitting a field goal over 32 yards. So like I was saying earlier, I mean, both these coaches are pretty aggressive, but I mean, from what I've watched, they do tend to take the points. Like if they've got 4th and 3 from the 25-yard line, I think that both these guys trust their kicker. I mean, Butker's been one of the best in the playoffs the past few years. He's clutch. And Ryan Suckup for the Bucs has been in big games. He's made big kicks. So I mean, 32-yard field goal. That's what you're at the 15-yard line or
that's an
further.
extra point. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's an extra point. Yeah.
I like that a lot. I mean, both defenses playing really well. I'd honestly be surprised if that one didn't hit too, which, of course it won't hit now that I'm saying that, but trust the kickers.
All right. So my next prop, this one, to be honest, I have absolutely no clue on, but I'm just using my common sense brain. And I think that this year, the last year extended, has been really tough for Americans and the world. So I got the over 159 on the national anthem. I see those words getting drawn out and everyone can cheer, and the 25,000 fans there, they're going to be going nuts because most of the fans there will be vaccinated healthcare workers who have endured a lot the last, we're coming up close to a year now. So that's plus money. That's plus 105. I'm taking that all day.
So who is it? It's Eric Church and
Eric Church and one other name I didn't recognize that I'm probably going to get shit on for not knowing.
Jasmine Sullivan. I don't know. I mean, I don't know who that is.
Exactly. I'm sure someone will have an opinion on that, but yeah, that's kind of where I stand. America needs a good national anthem and a good long cheer. So over 159.
So you're following your heart.
That's everything great. Just following the heart.
That's great. Yeah, I feel like everyone has that story where like they know someone on the inside or someone whose dad is on the inside who like watched the rehearsal at the Super Bowl. Like, they're like, it's going under, it's going over, and they're always fucking wrong.
And no matter what tip you get, it's always the opposite. That's what I've learned, especially when it comes to stupid shit like that no one actually knows.
All right, my advice to anyone who has that friend who has the inside source is don't listen. Like, or if you do listen, don't put more money than you're comfortable losing because that person has no fucking idea what they're talking about.
Of course.
My next one, I'll kind of say two together, just because they're pretty similar. I like largest lead in the game under 14.5, which I think it sounds better than it is. I feel like it's pretty common for like, especially nowadays with these high power offenses, for teams to go down by 17 plus. But I just don't see it happening with these two teams. Like both teams have been playing well on offense and defense, and I really see it going back and forth and staying pretty tight with throughout. And just, I mean, this is pretty similar, but I have the margin of victory under 7.5. So I don't care which team wins; they got to win by a touchdown or less. I like that value just because, you know, if you got someone down by 13 with 2 minutes left, like the back door is wide open. I think that both teams are going to fight till the end and just, you know, at least leave it all on the field. So I'm going under 7.5 margin of victory and under 14.5 largest lead.
I like that. I lost a lot of money on largest lead in the NBA Finals this year. Fun fact.
Yeah,
I got
NBA
it.
is ridiculous.
I got it right once, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I got it every single time, and boy, oh boy, was I wrong.
I mean, those games, Lakers Heat was crazy. Those
That's
games were so unpredictable.
I know it was nuts. Um, so I'm crossing a few out because some of them are garbage. Like one of the ones I had written down that I'm not even going to talk about was the price of Bitcoin going up or down during the Super Bowl. Like what? Like what a stupid prop they even write down. So I guess I'm gonna get towards the end of, towards like the post game stuff. So this one's, the more common one that you'll see is Sports Center and ESPN tweet out because it's all like cool. But I have Gatorade Bath red plus 165. Both teams' colors are red. I don't know if anyone actually likes red Gatorade, but that's, to me, I feel like if I didn't bet that, I'd be an idiot because of both teams are red and it's all about celebrations and all that mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, I feel like this is a classic bet.
Well, it is literally the classic bet.
Everyone looks forward to it.
And national anthem time.
And the coin toss.
Like,
the coin
yeah,
toss.
of course. I did you write down the coin toss? I didn't even want to touch it.
No, hell no.
Okay.
That's just like how you get your game off to a bad start because I would just assume that I would lose. That would like ruin the whole game for me before it even started. At least let me kick off before I start losing money. I don't want any of this pregame nonsense. So for my next one, this one's a little funky, but I love these cross sport bets. I think they're like extra interesting. They give you games to follow like earlier in the day. All right, so I got two of these. I'll give one, then I'll let you go. But so I'm taking the Super Bowl first half points combined by both teams is going to be more than the number of points that James Harden scores versus the Sixers on Sunday. So it's funny because I actually like the defenses in this game. I think the total is going to go under 56, but James Harden has, I mean, I'm a huge Nets fan. I don't know if we said that in the last episode, but Harden's my actual favorite player in the league. He has been in the past 5 years, so the Nets got him, which I was super hyped about, but he's been much more of a facilitator than a scorer. So he's been just dishing out assists to Durant and Kyrie. He's leading the league in assists, and he seems like he's very happy doing it. So I think that's going to continue, and he'll stay in like the low 20s and just dish out the assists. So I like that bet. Let me get more first half points than James Harden points for Philly.
What is that, minus 110?
Yeah.
I actually do like that. I was doing something in class today, and we had to write a story. We wrote a game story on when Harden dropped the triple double, and I was looking at the box score, and I was like, "Oh shit, maybe Harden isn't just gonna drop 50 a night anymore. He's got people around him."
He's done.
You actually didn't mention that you were a Nets fan, and I was really surprised because that's like one of the things I know you best for. You like before this too, before they went to Brooklyn, you were literally a ride or die Nets guy.
Yeah, dude.
It's crazy, especially against Philly, because Philly was the rumor where he was going to go. I could see him dropping a shit ton on Maurice's head, but listen, I hope you're right.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely possible. But, if that's the case, I'll hope for a shootout in the first half. So,
all right, I got a few more. I'm going to get into the MVP, Super Bowl MVP type stuff.
cool.
So I have three names written down for Super Bowl MVP. And then I actually have another bet that kind of goes the opposite of that. But I got three guys that I like for good money. Playoff Lenny plus 2,500. I think the way he's been running the ball and whatever extra supplement he's been taking come playoff time is really giving him that next boost. I could see him having 2 touchdowns, one in the first quarter and one in the fourth quarter to ice the game. And
Cool.
I think it's hard to not give a running back who has 2 touchdowns, especially in an important game, the MVP. I also got Mike Evans up there plus 2,800. That's kind of the same idea. I see him scoring the first touchdown for the Bucs, a little goal line fade from Brady to Evans in the corner. And then in case the Chiefs win, I have Tyreek Hill plus 1,000. Obviously, Mahomes and Brady are the two huge favorites for that. I don't want to bet on those. That's kind of boring.
Yeah, nah, you can't touch the QBs. I mean, Mahomes was like minus 120. I mean, you're better off just taking the Chiefs money line if you're going to do that.
Exactly.
Um,
That type of
I
stuff.
I honestly I do see a world where the Chiefs or the Bucks win where the quarterbacks don't get it, just because I mean Tyreek Hill he has those games where he gets 10 catches, like Kelsey might get 10 catches. And if you're putting up those stats, like if Tyreek comes out with 10 catches for like a buck 80 or whatever, like he's gonna win it.
Yeah, I mean, if Tyreek Hill can easily put up 300 all-purpose yards, and
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
if he's literally the most dominant player in the game, how you gonna not give it to him? So those are kind of my three longer shots for the Super Bowl MVP.
Cool. I like those. Yeah, just anyone besides the quarterback.
Yeah,
And the quarterback most likely wins, but it's just no value there. Might as well just take the team money line.
exactly.
All right, so my next cross-sport bet, and this is kind of similar to what I was just talking about. I got Tyreek Hill plus 24.5 yards versus the Denver Nuggets points against Sacramento on Sunday.
Wow.
So last time these teams played, I know like, this doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen again, but Tyreek went off versus Tampa. Like, I mean, he had over 100 yards in, I think, the first quarter alone.
Yep, that's right.
Um, so like, of course Tampa's going to adjust and, but there's not much you can do against Tyreek. If you throw 3 guys on him, they have too many weapons that they're going to beat you with. So I almost think you have to let Tyreek beat you and shut down everyone else. Like that's the old Belichick mindset. But so I love Tyreek Hill getting over 100. And if he gets over 100 and the freaking Nuggets score 140, like I'll take that loss. But I'm gonna ride Tyreek.
That'd be a tough one to wear on the chin, but yeah, because literally you would have had it like handicapped down to uh literally a science. So I got my next
Yep.
one, and we were talking about this a little bit in the earlier, how the defenses are so good. And I took a little flyer, and this was probably what I'd be like more likely to put my money on, is that any defensive player winning the MVP. It's plus 750. So you're telling me
Wow.
JPP has 4 sacks and strip sack Mahomes and to ice the game down the road, or whoever else. I like that. I like that value, especially because you literally have 22 people versus any single individual. And obviously
Yep.
I don't remember the last time there's ever been a defensive MVP. I don't even think Malcolm Butler got it when he made the interception in that Super Bowl, but
Nah.
he did it. Even still,
You know
JPP
who
with his
got it
eight
when the
fingers.
Seahawks won? I think like Bobby Wagner won it for the Seahawks a bunch of years. Oh, didn't Von Miller win it too?
Von
It
Miller
was
definitely could have won it in that Super Bowl, in Super Bowl 50
Yeah,
against the
Payne's last
Panthers.
year.
Yeah. So I like that. Plus 750. You got a lot more options when you're talking defense than just one individual offensive player.
I do like that. I know. I'm pretty sure like the entire KC O line right now is their second string. I don't think they have any day one starters. Um,
Yeah, their left tackle is out.
yeah,
And he's kind of their guy. Mahomes is Bond side. I think that's something interesting to keep an eye on, especially
for sure,
with the Bucks pass rush.
for sure. And that's the reason with their O line being out, you know, and the Bucks defense is good. The Bucks were kind of banged up on defense, but they've had a couple weeks now. That bye week, before the Super Bowl can't be understated. You can just get like all your banged up guys healthy. Um, and yeah, so for that reason, I'm gonna go under on the 56 for the game. I don't know if you want to start getting into like the spread picks either, but
Yeah,
I like under 56. I'm not expecting like, you know, a defensive battle. Like I think that both teams probably get in the 20s. But you know, I don't think it's going to be one of those like shootout games where both teams are just scoring every time down. I think you're going to have to kind of grind for your points. I think both teams are going to have to run the ball because the pass defenses on both teams are pretty good. So I see that clock running. And like I said, I'm not expecting like a 17-14 game, but give me, 31-24 would get me there. So
Yeah. So we're gonna do game picks right into now, and Scott kind of just previewed his. He's got the under. I actually am fully on the other side. I think it's gonna go over. I cannot see. I sound like an idiot, but I spent the last 20 minutes hyping up both the Bucks defense, and I know the Chiefs defense is just as good, but I really don't think you can hold Mahomes to under 28 in a Super Bowl, and um, that kind of I'll just kind of parlay that into this. But my pick for the game is Bucks money line plus 145. I will never bet against Tom Brady. I don't think it's a wise choice. It's like betting
that's
against.
the Jet fan in you.
I know, and I've watched it happen to me way too many times. And I probably wouldn't be saying that if he didn't come back from 20-3 against the Falcons, because that really could have been it. But that man is
Yep.
just never out of the game. I think he's got a chip. He's going to have to prove a lot. He doesn't have to prove a lot. He's going to want to prove a lot. All the people that said he can't win without Bill and that system up there, he's going to go. He's going to go touchdown for touchdown with Mahomes and the Chiefs offense. And both teams have such a big play capability that, like you said, it could be 14-14 in the first quarter. And then I do not want to be the guy who was sitting there rooting for a boring game. So that's kind of where
Yep, I'm gonna be that.
those are my two game plays. I got the Bucks money line plus 145 and the over of 56. Give me your plays.
Awesome. Yeah, so I'm on under. It's kind of like what you said about Brady. You won't bet against Brady. I just cannot. I could not see myself ever betting against Mahomes. I mean, that
If you
guy
bet
is just
against
a freak
Mahomes
of
this year,
nature.
all year, you would have made a lot of money. They were one of
No,
the
I
worst
know.
teams ATS, and I know we're talking straight game, and I gave money line, but you cannot. I got burned too much on the Chiefs this year, and that's kind of where my head's at.
Yeah, it's crazy. They had like a 8-game streak of winning the game and not covering the spread. But I mean, they came out and like they started off slow, and Buffalo was so hot, and they just took it right to them. They ended up, it wasn't even really a close game. They just kind of blew them out in a sense. Like Buffalo had one of the most high-powered offenses. They couldn't do anything. But I mean, just like what you said, I can't bet against Mahomes. I would hate like you got Mahomes in 3rd and 8. You think you're gonna sack him, and all of a sudden he escapes and hits Tyreek for a touchdown. Like 3rd and 16. I feel like these are the two teams in the league that can convert those like 3rd and 15s. Whereas my Giants and your Jets, they just hand it off for a 4-yard gain. These guys are fucking going for it. These guys, they trust their quarterback. I'm probably not going to play the Chiefs full game. I think they're going to win, but I'd rather just take these prop bets that I like and kind of just watch and enjoy and not stress over who's going to win. Just kind of hope for a good game and root these prop bets home.
I guess I'm gonna regret saying this right now, but I probably am gonna put in one true play, and it's gonna be a teaser. Give me the Bucks plus 9.5 and the over of. I'm taking 6 points. It'll be over a 50.
50?
So it's probably be like minus 120, minus 130. Just based off what you said, like going into your prop, like I don't think this will be a blowout on either side. So give me the extra points, and then for the over, just coming down with it. To be honest, the Bucks still, it's crazy because initially after the AFC Championship game, I was texting a bunch of my buddies, and I was like, there is no way I can take anyone but the Chiefs. Watching them just dismantle that team, they look so much better than the Bills, and they look so much better than anyone else in the league. But that's what the extra week is for you to just really sit in your head and question every single betting decision you ever make. So I'm going against my initial reaction, and I'm going to take the Bucks.
I'm excited, man, because these teams played earlier in the year. I think it ended up being a 3-point game, but I don't think it was actually that close. I think the Chiefs were kind of
Oh,
like
yeah,
comfortably ahead.
the Chiefs shit on them. It was like 31-10 in the first half, and then Brady put up
Yeah,
some
Tampa came back.
garbage time
Um,
stuff to make it a 3-point game, and the Bucks covered. But
yeah, I think the Chiefs like took their foot off the gas a little bit, which I don't think will be the case here if they go up. But I also don't think they're gonna go up again. I mean, no one like on a mid-season like Monday night game, like you don't expect teams to come out flat, but in the Super Bowl, I mean, no one's coming out flat. These guys are going to be focused from the start, maybe nervous, but they're going to be focused. And I think it should be a close game throughout. Like I said, I'm going to go 0-7 because I really think I'm going to go 7-0. So
yeah, I mean,
we'll see what happens.
I'm gonna put Scott's gonna send me over his picks after this, and I'm gonna put them in a spreadsheet, and we'll make it so I'm gonna put it at the bottom of the blog so we can all go back and reference it and shit on each other. Scott was doing well before tennis came to an abrupt halt in Australia. Am I right?
Um, Honestly, I think I was 2-2, but I was feeling good. I mean, my two losses were ones that like I would bet that same side again and again. So I'm honestly pretty confident in my tennis picks, and I didn't put out an article tonight just because I was fucking swamped at work. But I'm gonna get back to it hopefully tomorrow, and I'll be watching tennis all night just to keep my feel alive. But look out for those picks; they're posted
Yeah.
almost every day.
I'm gonna put the link down to the last one in the blog. Tennis was. Honestly, I thought the whole thing was gonna be canceled because someone tested positive, security guard. But I guess it was just that one day.
Yeah, it was that one day. It's back tonight.
All right, so that's gonna do it for this edition of Scotty Ice's Six Pack. Thank you to my boy Scott for coming on. Scott, your Twitter will be linked down below. Your blog will be linked down below. Any final words?
No, man, that's I feel bad because you're fully in retirement, and you're telling me you're gonna come out for one play in the Super Bowl. So I'm rooting for you over me right now. I want you to be happy.
I appreciate it.